Hey, beautiful soul. Before we jump into the episode, I want to know, did you know that I have a completely free virtual new moon circle called Co-Create every single month? This stemmed out of a constant request for a space or a church that taught so many different spiritual modalities, tools, systems, beliefs, and I didn't have any place to send them. So I created it. In Co-Create, this is the space that I want to bring to you to learn how to create a connection to yourself, your energetics, and the divine in a community that won't make you feel like a weirdo. A space where you can ask any question you want, where we get to dive into so many systems and beliefs and tools, and you get to pick and choose what feels good for you. So you can learn what it means to truly co-create with the universe, God, source, for flow, trust, and surrender, to connect with other women who are spiritually curious in a space that's safe, sacred, and inspirational. It's your space for you to find your people and lean into new spiritual practices to truly co create with the universe or God or source or whoever you feel connected to. You'll gain tools and knowledge to understand what it really means to lean into the universal laws and become magnetic, all while being held by massive feminine energy. I've been hosting these free new moon circles for almost a year now, and it's definitely one of my most sacred spaces, and it's completely free for you every single month. Diana said that she made a promise to herself that she would work on her personal development and growth journey earlier in 2024. So I reached out to her and asked her for a testimonial to share with us. And what she said was Adriana's membership community and Co-Create has accelerated that and more. I have had multiple breakthroughs from finding a new career path, improving my mental health by reducing my anxiety and depression through journaling, meditation, and breath work, improving my physical health, doing walking meditations are my jam, strengthening my marriage and relationships, improving my money mindset, and just setting up a routine that complements my design. I've learned to embrace challenges as a sign of growth. I will continuously do my best to be in harmony with myself, with this world, and the universe. I have never felt so seen, heard, safe, and supported. Her community and Co-Create has helped me connect to my true authentic self, to move with grace and intention, to embrace everyone's uniqueness. And we each have a special gift and are collectively part of this world to show and share it this way. Thank you so much, Diana, for sharing all of your reflections and how Co-Create and my community has changed your life. And now I want to share it with everyone else. The link to register is in the show notes below. Even if you register for 1 month, you will automatically be signed up to be able to join every single month for as long as you're on the list. So you don't have to repeat it every month. You will always get on the list. You will always have the Zoom link available. I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Now enjoy the episode. Welcome to the No BS Human Design Podcast. I'm Adriana Keefe, human design coach and motivational speaker. I went through my quarter life crisis in my 20s and had to learn how to navigate through finding what I was meant to be doing with my life. I refused to believe in the culture that said we were all meant to have the same path and boring careers until we retire and die. And along my journey, I found human design, a system that reveals your energetic blueprint, showing you where and how to access your body's consciousness and how to live as your true self. Human design changed my life, so I started sharing it with others and changing their lives, but we were all finding the same problem: a lack of resources that explain the system in easy and useful ways. So I created this show where we dive deep into the lessons of the human design system without the BS and the noise you find on the internet. Listen in for lessons in human design, finding your purpose, manifestation and spiritual practices, human design within business, and so much more. We connect with other experts in the human design and spiritual realm in a refreshingly honest way to help you find your way along your spiritual path and live this life with intention. It's time to let go of the societal expectations of being and let yourself find abundance through being uniquely you. Let's get started.
All right, and we are back here with the second edition of the Weathervane Witches. So happy to be reconvened as this coven and talking today about mental health because I think we are all going through the ringer energetically with all of this astrology stuff that goes on. I am not the astrology specialist in the group. Do not defer to me about this. But there's a lot of things politically, economically, energetically going on right now. And I thought this would be a really great episode because we have all been bouncing back and forth for the last month, I would say, on mental health, personal struggles. And what has been so interesting about all of us over this excuse me, put my teeth back in, this past month is that we have gone through and so unexpectedly found different ways for us to either understand disconnects in our energy and also how to address those differently given the different modalities we have. So that is what we are going to talk about here together as a group today. Just a reminder, hi, I'm Nicole. I'll let everybody introduce themselves with their own voices so we know who is who if you're just listening to this and not watching it on video. When
Oh,
Rachel,
that's
I'll
me.
go
Me
first.
next, sir.
Okay.
I'm like, well, who goes next? I don't know. Hi, I'm Adriana, human design expert and speaker.
Hi, I'm Rachael, psychic medium, ancestral healer.
Hi, I'm Jess, a body worker, yoga worker. I'm the body witch.
The body witch.
The
I'm ready.
general guru over here. And again, Nicole Pope, Akashic and Shamanic Evidential medium here. So I'll start. I will crucify myself first in terms of my mental health over this past month because it has been such a struggle energetically. And there have been so many ups and downs energetically over the past month. And as we record this, it's April 7th. Those astrology people keep me honest. I think, are we still in Venus retrograde? Are we done with that yet? Okay,
Still
we're
in it
still
until the end of the week. Yeah. This is
and
what's
then
happening to my face right now. Why I keep crying.
okay. And then Mercury retrograde that ends today, did you
Today.
say?
Yep.
Okay. And obviously, I don't follow a lot of this stuff, but I will tell you that energetically with myself, I feel more of the collective energy and I get really stuck in this thick mud from a collective energy standpoint. So this entire month for me has been rethinking and panic mode and anxiety mode and not going to bed probably until midnight every single night and waking up till 6 a.m. every single night. And so for me personally, I deal with a lot of this stuff by pure avoidance. It's my way, right? Because if I think about things, I will overthink and I will get into this mental cycle. So for me, energetically over the past month, it has been just so much coming at me from so many different directions. And by the way, my kids have been sick for probably about 2 months straight at this point. So I am literally at this point, and we are up here in eternal winter up here in New England. I am literally at this point where I am done. I am so far beyond the point of being overstimulated and burnt out. I am literally in this now regression mode where I am hermit mode. And that has been shown to me because I rely so much on spirit. That has been shown to me personally through spirit and the fact that I don't have any bookings this week. And this is what spirit does to me because this is how they will show me something's off and I will sit back and just let spirit guide me. And this week they literally took things off my calendar so that I can personally reset. And I love that about spirits. I'm going to pause to see if there's any reactions from the group so far because I see Rachael vigorously writing notes.
Yes, I have questions. What shirt are you wearing?
Oh, I'm saying we're Save Ferris.
Okay, so all I could see was a save, and I was like, how funny it is that like you're like, I'm really relying on spirit to like guide me, and it's like save. I was like, I wonder what the bottom of that is.
Me? Can you save me right now?
Right. Help. So and no, I so agree and about like being guided during this time.
Yeah. So how is everybody else feeling right now in
Like I'm
terms of
getting kicked in the teeth.
energetically this past month or so?
Kicked in the teeth.
Just not great. I've cried at least 5 times since just last night, like bawling, crying in the tub. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's not great.
Your Chiron's in Cancer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, yep.
Yeah, I got in the tub. Jess, what about you?
Hmm. Yeah, ups and downs. I feel like it's like even and then drop and then back to even and then drop. But there's no like, I'm like really pushing for that joy, you know, and like those kind of like higher states. And I'm just like, oh, we're back at even. Okay.
Yeah, I resonate with that too. That's what it
I do.
feels like. Yep. Like spa day last week was good, not great. And then I met with Nicole and she delivered some messages that were really good. And I thought I was like, I was like, okay, I'm moving out of this. The next day was good. And then it was like back down again. What is this?
I agree with that. About especially about like the pushing for joy, like because I
Mhm.
do like I've been around the block long enough, and like because what I'm going through is so specific to like my line of work, it is I've it's a quite an out of body experience, and I feel like I'm getting humbled in ways I wasn't anticipating.
Oh my
um
God, that's what it
but
is. Yes.
I'm getting leveled is what it feels like, demolished.
Didn't even think about that though, because you were getting kicked in the teeth with your line of work.
Yeah.
I am getting kicked in the teeth with my line of work. Adriana, you too?
Yep.
Do you mind? And Jess, I would love to hear your perspective too. Is that coming at you too as well?
Yeah, I think collectively,
Oh yeah.
and anyone that I'm like coming into like community with, everyone is feeling untethered, basically. I think it's like, you know, it's like physically, emotionally, energetically. And I think it's really like our inner direction is sort of feeling like out of sync. And it's really an invitation to recalibrate, right? Like with everything that's going on, these big shifts, like in astrology, in like politics, our economy, like so many things feel uncertain that it's like, oh, this plan, this path that I had for my life, like maybe it's not going to look like that anymore. And like, we don't like change as human beings, right? But like if we just pause and trust and like sit with spirit and like do our things, like our individual things and things that we do collectively that help us to like reconnect with source, it's just like, oh, like maybe we're moving in a radically different direction. But I think it's, if you reframe it like that, it can be like actually pretty exciting, right? Like it's just unfamiliar, and unfamiliar is scary, and it's like depressing and upsetting when things aren't going like we were thinking they were going to, like with our, you know, January 1st, like what's our plan for the year? Like, oh fuck, like not anymore.
I just feel
That
like you're
just got me
so much
excited.
more versed in that, Jess, just because you are in that space where you see physical transformations of people, right? So I think there's just something that's so amazing in your line of work. But I think, I mean, I love what you said. People feel untethered and they need to recalibrate. I think that's the perfect way to describe this.
Yep.
I
I
think it's a
agree.
clear invitation for us to just come back to what anchors us, right? And like a lot of us, like in our group chat and like things that you mentioned at the start of this recording, it's like the physical body is like a compass that's going to guide us where we're meant to be next, like these symptoms of like insomnia, or like, you know, we've been talking about getting like intense like drives, like do, right? Like getting a lot of things done at once and then feeling completely drained, kind of like this polarity at play. I think like the energy just feels like really dramatic right now, right? Like the pendulum is like just swinging so far in either direction, because it's the same thing for me. I either feel like I'm in like nervous system flight mode, like I'm going to get, oh my God, I got like 50 things done. I feel great. What's next? I'm on it, to like crash and burn. like that's how I was feeling this morning. I was just like, holy shit. Like you know, I had like a vacation, like a week off to rest, didn't really do that much. And then came right back and I'm like, I haven't had a day off since. And I'm like, you know, I had like yoga teacher training this weekend, holding space for people, lots of things going on. Even the students in yoga teacher training are like, every single one of them has reached out to me and they have some major life shift happening. And it's just influencing how we all show up. It's hard to hold space for each other when we have like this baggage. It's like physically, you can feel it like physically pulling you backwards. And all of this stuff, like when we come into collective, right? Because like we work on ourselves individually, like what I do with like my sadhana practice in the morning. And then we come together and then we're all mirrors for each other. And like all of this stuff that comes up, it's like an opportunity for us to forgive something in ourselves and like our unconscious guilt, right? So it's just like we have this awesome opportunity with everything that's going on that feels so hard and so heavy to like take it to the next level, right?
To never be here again.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
love that. I
It's
love
like
that.
we're pulling so you can like really catapult, like slingshot way farther than you've ever gone before.
Love that.
Using the energy of using the physical act of transmutation as transportation.
Yes.
I like that. That just got me
And it's, yeah, and it's like an opportunity too to like lean into your
hard.
guides, right? Like
Yeah.
that's like what I've been really exploring the like since Venus retrograde, which like what the fuck, guys, honestly. Like really, it's just been so everything is chaotic, everything's unpredictable, but like what is predictable? It's like the rituals and routines that we put into our life, the things that we know help anchor us, help ground us, like help keep us, remind us that like whatever's happening around us is just the dream, right? Like remind us that we are connected to spirit, like that's our true self, like stepping into our highest self, right? But then all this other shit happens and then we're just like, oh yeah, I'm like in this body and like things feel so heavy and like money and love and like unpredictability, all of this stress comes up. But like, okay, like what am I doing every day to remind myself that that's not real, you know? Like not to say that like we don't still have to go through that, but like maintaining that kind of like higher consciousness, right? Like higher elevation. And
You
then
actually said so. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
I'm done. I'm hogging the mic.
No, you're
I was
not.
like, I don't have anything to say today, you
No,
guys.
you said something that I think makes sense to us, but for those who are listening, I think it'd be so great if we all explored it for them to learn how. You said lean into our guides. And so a lot of the people listening are like desire that kind of connection, but don't know how. So what's something that you would say, and if you guys want to like round robin this or whatever, what's something you would say, Jess, where they could learn that?
Yeah, I actually I would love to share first on this because I think that I'm kind of like the least versed in this. And actually, you all have helped, you constantly remind me about like checking in with guides and stuff. And so as our friendship, like early stages of our friendship developing, I was like, I don't know who my guides are. Cause like even our first meeting, I remember you guys, is it Gabriel?
Archangel Gabriel.
Yeah. You guys had that connection. And I was like, how do they know that? Like, and so then I like, you know, stopped being shy and ask about it. Like, how do you find out who your guides are? And then I just started like putting it out there, like after my meditation, when I find myself in like my clearest or like most open, spacious kind of like headspace or heart space, maybe. Really like opening my heart to that. And I don't, you know, I could talk about this for a long time. I won't, but something that like obviously Jesus is one of my guides, and that's like a relationship and understanding a concept that I have really like dove into since like the start of the year. And that's an anchor for me now to know that like, oh, Jesus is my guide, like we're cool now, because like we were great, and then I was like, no, I never want to talk about Jesus, and now I'm like, okay, like we're in a healthy space. So like, and then asking and using cards and other things to say like, okay, like guides, like reveal yourselves to me.
I love that.
Maybe the easiest way I tell people to, your guides are typically, I'm going to say angels, archangels, ascended masters, and or any other deity, right? So like I'm talking a lot in the Christian context, but it really is any sort of deity that you resonate with. If you already have this connection with the deity and you don't know why, you more than likely than not, they're your guide, right? And so if you're truly not sure, I would recommend you just go out and Google who are angels, who are guides, who are gods, goddesses. And honestly, you are going to know. You're going to get to this one and you're going to stop. Your heart's going to start beating and you're just going to know, I work with them. They're my guide. And you're going to have no logical reason to know that whatsoever. But those are kind of the big guns, right? And I think there's a really cool way to do that for your immediate guide. And when I say immediate guide, I mean your guardian angel, whatever you want to call the guide that's kind of with you from your first breath till your last last breath. I cannot get words out today.
Put the teeth back in your mouth.
I know. Maybe I'm not supposed to talk this much. I'm supposed to sit back and listen to this one. But I would recommend you get some cards out and just say, pull some tarot cards, pull some oracle cards. What's your personality? Who are you? What do you like? What do you like? How do you work with me? That kind of thing. So there's so many different ways you can figure out who your guides are, as well as what is, what's your relationship with them, what's their personality. And there's just, you have to trust your instinct and trust what you get so that you can really just get to know them a little bit more. And Rachel, I'm sure you have some other ways that you connect with your guides
Oh,
as
yeah.
well, or clients do. Yep.
Like first starting, this was hard, but just because like, like religious trauma and then like trauma around trusting self, like a lot of, I feel like, and like just connection with spirit is like when you said body witch, Jess, I was like, that's fucking perfect, because that's how I feel like a lot of our intuition is tied into our physical sense and like our clairsentience, and how that's such a thing for a lot of people, and like how messages and traumas can stay stored in our bodies. So, but for me, when I was first starting, it was like recognition of patterns in my own life. So like if I was seeing a bunch of hawks, like, okay, I would take that, just because I also have ADD or undiagnosed ADHD. And I take what's prevalent in my life, like what theme is really like, are they crows? One time I saw two blue herons. I'm shit you not. It was right before we moved into this house. I saw two blue herons intersect over to overhead, one going this way, one going this way. And I was like, wow, I feel so safe in this moment. And like that was huge for me. And that was about 4 years into my journey of like truly stepping into authenticity. So I was like, that for me was ancestral and angel interconnecting, because they're two different energies to me. So I wrote down a lot. Anyways, yeah, patterns. I recognize patterns, and that's how I like to do it. And then making room to receive these bigger energies and not being intimidated by them, because that's what I think turns a lot of people off, is like either whether it's religious trauma or negative programming around our personal connection with spirit or God, like especially a patriarchal Christian God. That's not going to resonate with a lot of people, and like that supports a religion that, like, for me, I don't think religion and spirituality, I know a lot of people agree with this, they don't go hand in hand, right? And so yeah, learning to,
I don't even think they belong in the same conversation.
I don't think religion should even fucking exist. Like when Jesus said, you follow no, I said this today, I was like, when Jesus said follow no other God but me, he wasn't saying like follow no other God but me. He was saying like follow what you feel inside, follow no other God but self, because the kingdom of heaven is within. Like I feel like we've gone so fucking far left, and like one of you mentioned, like being turned off by Jesus, like when you were, or whatever. And I was like, literally, I feel like I threw the baby out with the bathwater. And like, and it's, a lot of my recognition with guides. So I started with ancestral. That was just easiest for me because I'm Irish. And like, that was really drilled into me from my elders, like in my real life, was that strength in the Irish community. So I worked with my grandparents, and the ones that I knew were kind of open to what I do. Because I also, on my mom's side, like there is repulsion for what I do. So it took me a long time. So I started with the ancestral, and then I worked over to angelic realm right when my daughter was born. I got like okay with that kind of energy, because I feel like kids embrace that. They embody that. And like it scared the shit out of me. But that's because I learned to be afraid of it. It wasn't something I was afraid of when I was her age. So
Yep.
Love that so much. So
I would say go ahead.
No, go ahead, Adriana.
I would say I was very much like Jess when I was first learning about this. Like when I thought about guides, I thought they were always spirit that we had known at one point, or ancestral or something. I didn't know there was anything else. And then like 2 years ago, I was sitting in a woman's circle at my friend Kim's place, and she owns a shop and they sell oracle cards there. And so we were in the shop, and I felt like there was like this, I don't know, something staring at me. And I look up, and across the way and on the shelf, I finally have it now, was this Oracle deck staring at me, and it had Mary Magdalene. And I was like, Kim, who is that? Like, that's beautiful. And then she said Mary Magdalene, and I was like, oh, well, that's not for me. And I like left that there. But then a few months later, in a Reiki session, I was told Mary Magdalene was holding my hand, Jesus was holding her hand, and then there was another like really big. She called it like God-like, Odin-like, but it wasn't Odin type of figure, like wrathful but protective. And I still don't know who that really is. And I had to do a lot of faith reconstruction around that and being okay with like Mary and Jesus being a part of like whatever this is next to me holding my hand. I was like, but I don't like believe in religion. And now, thankfully, a while later, 2 years later, she comes up all the fucking time. Nicole's just like, oh, hey, Mary's here, wanting to talk to you. And now I feel like she just gives me signs and I feel like she embraces me a lot, but it's taken some time to get there and to trust that. Like I knew it when I first saw the deck of cards and I was just like, I don't know what that feeling is. So I left it alone. But that's what Nicole was talking about, how like you'll know, even if you don't know, you know.
You both helped heal my relationship with each of those deities, like both Jess
Mhm.
and Adriana. Like Jesus, I was so turned off to. And then Nicole's like, I mean, it's like Jeshua. I was like, a what? A what now? And like you
Yeah.
guys, and like the same thing with Mary Magdalene, like her friend Kim that she's talking about, she like, I swear to God, embodies. It's some like being in her vortex, you literally, it was just like Mary Magdalene shows up and she's like, oh, I picked you. And you're like, why? Okay.
Yes.
And for me, I was like, I will submit at your skirt crying in fear. Please don't hurt me.
My goodness.
Um,
Had to
I
challenge
love it.
that.
Yeah. And when I was practicing, I just loved it because Adrian and I were chatting last week and I was like, hey, can I practice? Because I like to practice evidential mediumship. And then I tried to, and she immediately walked in and I was like, oh, no, you're here, Mary Magdalene. No, I'm doing evidential. And she's like, no, you're not. You're going to.
I really needed to hear everything she said that night. That's why. She's like, this bitch is breaking down. Look, I'm crying again right now. Oh, Jesus.
So bringing it back to kind of this mental health topic, I love that you can work with your guides. And I think before maybe I ask a couple questions, I want to point out that working with guides is wonderful, but it's not going to take away the pain and the journey that we had to go through. And I think that we are all in the freaking thick of it right now because working with guides and doing this metaphysical work, it is not a cure all, it is not a silver bullet for resolving whatever path we're on. But what it is this opportunity for us to grow and become our best selves. And our guides often show us the way through that. And I think that's where all of us are right now. So I don't know where we feel like going or where we feel like talking about. I mean, personally, I can talk about with me. My mediumship has been all over the fucking place. Like one week, my mediumship is epic. The next week, it's total shit. And then like the Akashic Records is really good. And I know there's a lot of, for me personally, there's a lot of energetic stuff that kind of goes up and down, especially with this collective, because the collective is so unsettled. And we are humans here in this physical world. So depending on where the energy is at, it really impacts the quality of my readings, which has been really, really not consistent lately. And so this week or last week, they've literally pulled out the rug from under me, and everything that typically comes easy for me has been so hard and or coming in completely different in every way that they have been before. So I'm literally right now bringing it back to the basics. And I think, Jess, you explained it best. It's like reconstructing the way that I do my mediumship. So hopefully it's energetic proof is the only way I can kind of think this. So for me, when times get really hard, I personally obviously connect with all of you and make sure I'm not fucking crazy, right? But then I also bring it back down to the structural components and like rebuild things. So I'm always like, if things are going haywire, let me bring it down to making sure I'm trying to get enough sleep, make sure I'm eating well, drinking enough water, taking care of myself, and just doing the basics and kind of adding stuff back on top. So I like to strip things away that don't resonate or make sense with me anymore. So that's kind of how I'm approaching this current climate. I don't know if anyone else wants to kind of talk about what's going on and how they're approaching it.
I definitely can. So I agree. Like work has been, I'm also I'm a medium as well. So well, psychic medium. I don't know. I do readings as well. And like work has been no, like non-existent since I launched my site. Like not a single crickets. I've gotten support, which is amazing, but like crickets. But also like personally, I'm going through, like, my mom is in hospice right now, and she's at the end of her life, and like it was a really challenging weekend, and spending time with her Saturday, I was like, oh, this is why. Okay. And I looked back at like the last few months and like how I'd really spent prior to knowing she was going on hospice, I really started this investigation. Like I got wicked fucking sick. And like I started this investigation on like metaphysical healing and physical healing. So using Mullen for both my lung health, but also Mullen is good for healing energetic wounds, healing the mother wound, healing ancestrally. And it's wonderful. It was an herb for the Celtic. So I was like, this is all in one. And I've also been leading more into plant medicine, both through cacao and other forms of plant medicine, and then physical healing. So making sure I move my body every single fucking day, making sure I stretch. And when I'm stretching, I'm doing it in complete silence. So I'm able to make sense of the shit, of like the energetic like fuck up in my body right now, because it feels like everything is like jam fucking packed. And I know it feels so similar to labor. And like my labor, I didn't do any of that. I literally just like labored on my back the way they told me I should. And I was like, I feel like I should get up and move. And they were like, you should stay. Because I was like, I was not okay. So, but now I have that opportunity. So I've been really leaning on like talking to myself as if I was a client, because this is the level of energetic purge I'm going through right now. I can see the connection, and I'm like, this is the high level stuff I have been wanting and needing to manifest. And I'm going through it now so that I can help myself and even just my descendants. Like I'm gonna die one day, and like no, my kid's gonna have to deal with that. And now I can tell her, like, when this wound appears, this is how I would challenge it. This is how I would sit with it. This is what I would do. When this, ache is happening in your physical life, this is how it's going to show up in the metaphysical. So that's how I've been. It's like looking at my pain through curiosity instead of just letting the pain consume my life.
So
That was
good. It's so good.
I love
And you're the first one where we're like, oh man, I'm feeling this. And you're like, well, that means this in the spirituality world. And I'm like, oh my God, I never even thought about this. So much so that I like bought a medical intuition book so that I can try to keep up with you. Yeah.
love it.
It's amazing.
I know,
And
I
so
love that.
sorry.
Sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
love
I'm
how
just
you
I
said
wish
that you I love how you said that you're stretching in like complete silence so that you can kind of like feel the shit that's going on in your body. I think like that's definitely something that I do. It's like, you move into a hold a stretch or something, or like move into some physical movement and then like actually tune in to like, okay, what sensation do I feel in my physical body? Like that's a very grounding, like
Yes.
anchoring kind of practice. But then also, okay, now I've named that. I feel it. What else comes up? Like what comes up spiritually or emotionally, right? Because like we hold that stuff in our physical body in like our fascial system. So
And like, yeah, and like we're all energetic workers, right? So not only are we all confronted with stuff on a daily basis and our own existence, but like we all have clients that are people too, and we have kids that are people too, and we hold space for all of these messages and guides. And sometimes I feels like when the collective is ungrounded, this is when it's the hardest. But I also like we're about to start 75-day hard. I'm so excited. And like I found myself being really challenged and being like, with everything going on, I need to like drop it down. And I was like, no, with everything going on, this is what I need to do. I need to prime my body like it is. I need to treat my body with the utmost care, and that's what I'm going to do. And there's nothing to be, I was like afraid of it. And there's nothing I should be afraid of. I'm just afraid of hard things. But, it's also good to challenge that.
yeah, I think it's really important to acknowledge that like yeah, it's normal to be afraid of hard things. It's normal to dislike discomfort,
Right.
right? Like we're talking about like, I'm over here saying like, well, just lean into your guides and like do anchoring activities, but like it doesn't always feel great. It's just like, okay, like we just keep it up consistently and we
We
know,
help with that
yeah. Well,
on it.
everything has like a birth, life, death, rebirth, right? Like everything comes in cycles. So it's just like, okay, like lean into it. Like, what can I learn from this? I
Hearing
love
you
what
get
you
through
said,
the ruck,
Nicole,
I was
too.
like, amazing.
What?
hearing both you guys when you guys did the rock is really what changed my level of how I look at fitness and like just physical discomfort. I was like, look at what they did. Okay.
Yeah.
It was inspiring.
That was pretty badass. Go us, Jess.
Go you guys.
And Jessica is doing it again, so maybe we should drop her donation link. I'm volunteering this year, not doing it. So we'll drop Jess's donation link in the comments too.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm doing that. It's good. It's all good. No, but I think basically like Nicole, what you said is just like, you do the things that that work for you. But I also want to circle back to another concept that you introduced that really resonated with me, which is that the way that you've always done things, like I touched on this a little bit before too, but like maybe like that's not how spirit's guiding you anymore. Like you said, your readings are different. I'm finding the same thing. Because I work, I teach group classes and then I work one-on-one in terms of like body work, we'll call it, like as a massage therapist. Adriana, is it okay if I share something about a session that we
Yeah.
had? Yeah. Okay. So this was wild to me because I just like when you come from this place of like, either borderline or in burnout, right? When you're just feeling like I don't have that much to give. Again, I think it's another opportunity to lean on spirit more and just remember that we're just a vessel, right? Like we don't have to effort so much for everything all the time. So in session with Adriana last week, um, she came in and I just opened myself up to like whatever's going to come through because typically I'm like, okay, like these people come in, clients come in and they're like paying for a service. And I'm like, okay, I have to do a full body massage. And then any other little thing that I can get in there that like feels like it's coming from spirit, great. But in this case, obviously we have quite a rapport. So it was a little bit, it felt safe for me to do this, but I was just like pulling, I was doing stuff. I'm like, okay, here we go. Like, guess we're going to do that. Like, red light therapy and cupping and energetic holds and then crystal clearing. So I told you guys I haven't done crystal clearing or crystal placement in quite a while, like probably years. Is something that I used to do often. But Adrienne, I didn't even share this with you, but when I was holding your head doing Reiki on you, kind of I think it was at the beginning of the session, or it might have been halfway. It was either the start of the session or as soon as you turned onto your back. But I was holding your head and I felt a like infinity symbol like buzzing through your third eye. And I was like, basically what you had been describing was that you felt like very in your head, like leading up to that and like kind of stuck there, like you couldn't pull energy down. So I felt this spiral and I was like, yep, it's stuck. And so I took like it's a large quartz crystal and you basically like scanning it over your body and just like it's like ironing out, like coaxing that energy down toward your feet and then smoothing it out with the crystal and then some other crystals like placed on your heart and your third eye. So yeah. So my point is, like I said, I haven't done that in years, but like I'm like, oh, I used to do this and like I used to feel like very present with it. So that happened and I'm like, well, this is how I do body work now. And so like moving forward, I'm just like, okay, well, this is part of it. And like the clients that are meant for me will be with me and those who are not will find someone else if they're looking for something different. But just like giving myself that freedom to like, okay, I'm going to launch in this direction. And then I'm like thinking about weaving Thai massage back into my offerings, but Thai massage with these like very intimate like breathing exercises and energetic holds. So that's something that I'm like conceptualizing and wanting to start offering maybe this summer when I have kind of time to like work through it a little bit. So I wasn't expecting that at all.
You just blew, okay. You're explaining so much of what's happened since the massage. Remember? Okay, so I walked out of the massage. Wait, let me back up. See, now my sacral's getting excited. Okay, so I went in, and and anyone who's been listening to me recently on social or whatever knows that I've been stuck in my head, and I hadn't slept in 2 months, and like not my typical modalities weren't working. My nervous system was in super flight. And so I go to get this massage with Jess, which I had previously booked. So, of course, the universe just provides, right? And when I came out of the massage, I was like, wow, I feel so much more in my body. I feel so grounded. And now that you're telling me that, that makes even more sense. I was thinking it was just typical, having the body work done in general was grounding, which I'm sure it still is. But now over the past few days, you guys have seen like I'm gonna cry again. I was just thinking as you're saying that, I was like, I've actually been not as in my head. Like it's been a little bit better. And then I was like, oh, but I've been crying incessantly. And I think what happened is we moved it down into my body. So now I can release whatever this is. That's wild. Here, I'm going to cry again. So thank you.
This is my public service announcement that crying is an energetic release. So
1,000%.
So this is really important. If you feel the need to cry, feel the need to cry. Like let it out, let it energetically flow out of you, because as spirit explains it to me, it is the removal of stagnant energy. So I honestly, Adrienne, I'm so stoked for you. Like let's
Why
just
not
like
all
get
be
it.
yours too?
It's true.
That-
Oh,
mm.
You could be crying for other people. Do it up.
That's so true.
You could
Yeah,
also
I mean, just look at the collective energy of this. Like me having a fucking dark night of the soul mental breakdown has just opened up a new part of Jess. And like I say things like that in prayer and in meditation where I'm like, okay, if something I'm going through is gonna help people, I know it. But it's just so wild when you actually see what it did for someone else. Like that blows my mind. Makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, that
For
just gave
having
me
this
chills.
breakdown.
I'm
Yeah.
excited for Jess you to offer that. I volunteer as tribute. Like, please let me know.
Oh yeah,
Not
I would
much.
love to work on
My
each of
ass is booking.
I work this out. I think too, Adriana, like, so I did also, so I'm trained in polarity therapy. And so I did some like earth element holds on you as well, which is meant to be grounding. But from I basically like when I'm hearing you say like the tears and everything, I'm thinking, okay, we move from air element, head brain, into your body, like getting into water element, like you're getting closer to being like
Mm.
more earthbound, right?
So what
Like,
comes after water? Fire and then earth?
I don't know.
Well, if I get real ragey, I'll let you
Yeah,
know.
rage.
What,
Rachel
Rachel?
knows. Rachel knows. What is it, Rachel?
I
They could
know.
do the directions, northeast, southwest,
Just
Which are
like us.
what?
air, fire, water.
Okay.
Air, fire, water. Mm.
Oh, well, I mean, maybe I already passed through fire pretty quickly. I was pretty angry this weekend. So.
You read fire to me. It's
I
always so
know.
surprising to
That's
me.
probably my Leo rising.
Maybe. And the whole time you've been talking, I've been holding like, I don't know what this is, but I remember we got it in Disney at some water exhibit. I just don't remember what it is, but it's,
That is cool. Reminds me of the Little Mermaid, Ariel.
yeah, actually, yeah. The thingamajig.
So maybe as we wrap this up, I would love if folks could give what are their like top two self-care tips, maybe from each of your modalities or whatever you're going through right now, to help people that maybe feel the way that we feel, ungrounded, disconnected, that kind of thing. So what would you, and who, I'm just going to do a free for all, I'm not going to call on you. So whoever wants to go first in terms of just feeling what tools can people walk away with so that they can feel better too.
I can go first. Um, the first that's been really helpful, which I was already feeling pulled toward, and then you were channeling for Mary, and she was like, start just studying yourself again, basically, is going just having fun and diving deeper into my own chart. Not looking for anything specific, but just like learning more about who I am and like why I'm designed the way I am, because everyone loves like getting astrology readings, getting numerology readings, like that. And I literally have the power, for lack of a better term, to look into my own human design chart and read it because I know how to do that. So I've been doing more of that and my gene keys and diving into my gene keys. And that stops the mind spiral in that negative way and puts it kind of to good use. And it makes me really love myself again, get back into my body. And then my go-tos for actual like somatic practices, I've been doing tapping every single day. And the past like few days has been like bawling my eyes out tapping. So like good tapping sessions. And I've been doing my Kundalini every day, like Jess challenged me to. And that stuff has felt nice and grounding, getting me back into some sense of peace, even if it feels like it disappears like half an hour later.
I love it.
I've been doing Kurt and Kriya, and so that is a Kundalini meditation. And for me, gosh, it's been crazy because I feel like I'm getting all of these like part of it. I'm actually going to post a reel about this later because so many people have asked me to do this, explaining like when you do the chanting, like visualizing it come through the crown out through the third eye. And so just like any other person that tries to sit and meditate, it's hard, and sometimes my mind wanders, and I do it first thing in the morning, so I might be like, oh, I have to like wake up my kid, I have to do this or that. But then I'm like, oh no, sata nama. And when I do that, I'm like, what, my heart space is like exploding. And I'm like, people are coming into my meditation. I'm sending them love. I had this really awesome moment where I was like pouring out love to this individual who came into my meditation. And then Spirit says to me, if you wrap yourself in that love, it's not going to take away from what you're giving to other people. And I was like, okay. So now that's what I'm kind of like entering into in my meditation, but like doing the meditation for me, it's discipline. I think like across the board, it's like it's not just like, oh, I'm going to do whatever I feel like to connect with spirit today. It's like, no, I know that this works and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make sure that I do. It's a non-negotiable. So it's for me, it's sitting in meditation. It's like reading some kind of like something to give me new knowledge, something to give me different access to source. I do the meditation, and then I pull a card, and then I journal. I mean, that sounds like a lot of things, but it really doesn't take that long. But I think that another big thing that I'm so blessed to be able to do in my daily life is like really be in my body. Like I teach physically demanding classes and stuff. And for me, like this morning, I was like, like feeling just frustrated and like tired and stuff. And then I like taught my class, and I was like, oh, I feel better now.
Thank God for that Monday 9 a.m. class, man.
I know.
I've been leaning on that.
Rachel, you got anything you want me to go? Oh, me. Okay. I can go. So there's a couple things that are popping up in my head. The first thing is, I love what you said, Jess, and I think routine is so important, but also there's a component, and it's a gray space, and I don't know what the right answer is for a lot of this stuff, but know that whatever you're going through or wherever you're at is exactly where you're supposed to be, and trusting that. So like I trust that I have no clients this week for a reason. So I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? What do I do? Right? Because what spirit is doing through a lot of this work for me personally is giving me space and allowing me and gifting me time to figure out what is my direction of travel. And so to me, this is a great like time for an assessment and figuring out, again, what serves me, what doesn't serve me, where am I on track, where am I off track? And it doesn't have to be this big thing, but I think most people will generally know when they're off track because there's resistance. Things are harder than they should be. So this is a really cool week for me personally, where I'm going to really take like 10 steps back and figure out, where have I been distracting myself and avoiding things that I need to do? Like, for example, I have 2 or 3 business things on my to-do list that I need to go sign up for this week. And I'm like, fine, I have time today. I will go and sign up for these things. So I trust that whatever this journey is with spirit, whatever I'm going through energetically, there is a reason for it, and I'm going to have to trust it. And I trust that I'm going to come out the other side better than the way I entered it. So there's this trust, there's bringing it again, trusting the space, feeling the resistance and moving into the resistance instead of distracting myself from the resistance. And then the last piece is, again, just go back to the basics. So when things get scary, confusing, overwhelming, there is a reason why our ancestors, like, okay, they probably had their mental health issues. I get it. But there's such simplicity in the way that humans have been historically, like in terms of we had hunters and we had gatherers, right? Like we spent all our days making food, cooking food,
Everybody's
and doing
too tired.
Right? No wonder we're fucking tired. Yeah. So it's bringing it back to whatever feels good. And if you feel distracted, like start removing some things for your life. Like I'm going to say it, even though I'm on social media, delete social media, right? Like, or schedule time. I love it, Jess. Like schedule time, schedule 10 minutes, 20 minutes a day that you're going to do social media, and then don't go on it later. Right. So it's just like, try to just focus on right now. We're all in the survival mode. Just focus on the things that are going to allow you to survive and thrive, and don't worry about the rest. If it's supposed to be in there, you will make time and space for it. And I think that's what I had. What about you, Rachel?
I'm glad you said that because I've been sitting here feeling like shit because I haven't done anything to like help myself feel better.
Okay,
Um,
first of all, that can't be true, but also stop shaming yourself because
well, that's
we're busy moms.
I was like, this is a good idea to like look at things with curiosity instead of interrogation.
Hmm.
Because I normally would interrogate myself and be like, you should do better and you should do, and you do, because I do know more. I do know more. And like, meaning that like, I know when these waves come that like, they're just waves. It's just emotion. It can't hurt me. There's nothing to fear. Like, I can face what I'm facing. I'm strong enough to do it. But for some reason, every fucking time I feel like I look like a dog with my tail between my legs. And I'm like, and then I come out the other side like a lion. Like, and so I've been sitting here like, shit, what do I do? And I was like, I've been giving myself a lot of grace,
Hmm.
which is something that was very in short supply when I was a kid. And some of my ancestral healing is actually a lot of grace work, like sitting in, because I do sit in like I do a lot of visualizations because like I lean on plant medicine. So that is something I've been doing is like sitting in visualization with like my mom and then her mother and then her mother before her and her, because they were all not nice women. And I've worked really hard to not only be a nice woman, but to only have nice women in my life. And that's, in my opinion, like there's a huge like wound on the feminine. And I think there's something about like this space that I'm in right now physically, and that translates into what I do for work and then the people I entertain myself with. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's no coincidence to me that I found a group of intuitive, feminine, strong women all having similar makeup that I do at this point in my life when I have been nothing but all of my trauma has been inflicted me by the feminine. And now here comes you guys and like the rest of my friends and the rest of like I work in such a feminine based field.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm like tangenting.
Can I reflect something back on you, Rachel?
Go ahead.
I think out of this group, you are the one who I think is most understanding of your own problems, and you just target the hell out of it and you go right into what is the exact problem and you go right after it.
Thanks.
Whereas like, I swirl. I'm like all the problems turn into one big problem. I don't know what to go or what to do, but you are so laser focused on what is this one specific problem and what tools do I have to fix it, because you are
Thank you
so
for
like
that.
that.
I
I
do like a
second that.
thread. I like you guys remember Hercules, like the movie Hercules?
Hmm.
Remember
Mhm.
the fates? I feel like that's what I do. I feel like we're like the weave, or at least that's what I do. Like I'm the reader of so I do appreciate that because I that's true. It's just the vulnerability out and like because a lot of what I do because I'm such an energy-based worker and I work with people that all do go through similar stuff I do, that sometimes my healing is just being really present with my kid. And sometimes that's just like ordering takeout, lighting some incense, and like putting on a simmer pot. If I, because there are like mundane things I do in my craft that like because when I put my makeup on or my skincare, I draw sigils. So I can't sit here and say I don't do anything. Like there are things I do. Um, but damn, fuck, y'all make me confront my shit. And I love you all so much.
I think it sounds like you're doing like so much deep work. And I think like across the board, like anything that we're doing, like we're doing it because it resonates with us. And you've integrated these practices just so much into your daily habits that you're not like, oh, this is the time I carve out to do this. It's like you're doing it all the time. And that's maybe why it's hard for you to pinpoint it. But like, I think it's important to remember, like, we're not doing any of this stuff because we have to fix ourselves. We're doing it to come home to ourselves.
Ah,
I don't think
Yeah.
there's a better way to end that episode.
Mic drop.
Goodness, that was amazing. I just want to thank you all so much for being so. I literally have nothing else to say. Just summarize it all. So thank you so much. Holy macaroni. So great to see you all here again today. And then I'm sure we'll be together all soon, but thank you all for your vulnerability, your honesty, your transparency, and how you're feeling, what's going on. And hopefully our listeners are walking away with some tools that they can put into their tool belt to help them through this chaotic journey too. So sending love to all of you and all of the listeners out there.
Absolutely. Bye, guys.
Bye.